want to support them.
Ahsoka is that good, bro.
Is it? But can it save Star Wars?
I mean, I don't think Star Wars really needs saving, to be honest. I think what they just need to do is not put out
Have you seen
subpar
Andor?
shows.
Just
Andor was trash.
if they push away the people doing trash and let Dave lead the way.
Yeah, this is like a completely...
It's
God
Dave's.
bless Dave.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Dave's characters.
Yeah, it's his baby, so
And he's
treating
written
it top
and
tier.
directed and created this show. And surprise, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Everything from the fight scenes to the dialogue, and guess what you see? Aliens all over the place. Because guess what? It's Star Wars, and you should see some fucking aliens.
Hey, the thing
should.
about Space Wizards has Space Wizards in it.
Yeah,
Surprise!
yeah.
Well, then it will probably be fucking successful. Very odd formula they have.
All right,
there.
so before...
You want to keep this like
Yeah.
2-3 inches
As if
away.
you
Alright,
take,
talk.
a, as
Let's
if
hear
you
you,
take a
Grant.
bite out of it.
Say something.
Hello.
All right, good.
Oh, there you go. You're gonna
Because
hate
you want to
your
make sure
voice,
you can
too.
hear your voice inside. Yeah, you'll start to ignore it after the first couple of minutes.
First couple episodes, I fell into a depression because I was like, I sound like this. This is how I fucking sound.
I know what I sound like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I thought I did, and then I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, Jesus.
All right, Ed, kick it. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelsie.
Ian.
Ed and our special guest, Grant.
Well done. Well done.
We practiced that for 30 minutes
You have
before
no
we
idea
started
how
the
many
fucking
takes
podcast.
that was.
Right, because Ian was like, I don't know if I can remember the name.
I couldn't remember
I
Grant.
can't remember the name.
I couldn't remember Grant. There's no way. Ed said, I think I can do it.
Yeah, he wrote it on his hand before we started the podcast.
I got
but-
it tattooed on my inner thigh.
I didn't think I'd be this nervous. I almost forgot my own name.
It happens sometimes. It happens sometimes.
It does. It does.
So we were talking a little bit before the show started about
We were.
Disney Plus, some of the Star Wars stuff that's going on. Ahsoka Tano, I have to say, is doing a great job so far with the first 2 episodes.
Yep.
Takes place after Rebels.
I haven't seen it.
So Rebels, the cartoon, I would definitely say you would want to catch up on a couple of those episodes, get yourself familiar with the characters.
Hit one of those 20-minute wrap-ups for Rebels.
Yeah, and you should be good to go.
It would probably help.
Yeah.
I do, myself, after watching the first 2 episodes, wonder how the people who haven't watched Rebels and kept up with everything in Star Wars can keep up with this show, because they give you little references and they kind of fill it in, some of it, but they aren't giving you so much backstory that the people that already have the backstory are like, come on, we know this, keep it
Right.
moving.
Right.
So they're trying to keep the pace moving forward while not trying to leave too many people behind.
So as someone who's never seen like the Clone Wars and Rebels, am I just gonna go in like?
It's hard to say because the action is good.
And the storyline is easy to pick up if you've watched any Star Wars. What you'll miss on is some of the nuances of the characters. But I think that will pick itself up as you're watching the show. Like, some people were a little confused as why Ahsoka picked Sabian Wren, who is a Mandalorian, as her apprentice. But if you watch Rebels...
Sabian, that's an interesting name.
Yeah, if you watch
It's really
Rebels...
close to Sibian, which is another thing that is a popular machine that's used by...
She is quite the mechanic.
What?
Okay.
What's it a popular machine of?
Oh, you don't know what a Sibian is?
I have no idea what a Sibian
Have
is.
you
Now I need to
have you
know.
not seen Howard Stern, sir?
I do not watch
He
Howard
used a
Stern.
speaker.
There's this great database called Pornhub, and I want you to get on there and just type in
Moving on.
Sibian.
So Stern did the El Cheapo route with just the speaker?
No, he was the OG. I think it was before that. It was prior to.
Okay.
Okay, all right, all right. So,
I remember it in his movie, the one movie that he put out.
oh, the
a while
Howard
back.
Stern movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would do interviews while they were.
Sitting on a Sibian.
Okay. So, not related to Star Wars
Okay.
whatsoever.
Just checking.
Just checking.
Just clear
check.
in the air.
In the show, she is actually a Force user. She's the one who finds the lightsaber that is destroyed at the end of the Mandalorian season. What do you call the lightsaber?
Dark saber?
The dark
black
saber
one,
that
right?
the
Yeah.
Mandalorians
That they
use.
So we got dark sabers and
Yeah.
Sibians. All right, I might
Yes.
subscribe. I might take a look at it.
You were in at Sibian.
Yeah,
were in
you
at
got
Sibian.
Rosario Dawson. You got Sibians and sabers. I might watch
He's
the
like,
first
I'm in.
episode.
I'm
yeah.
in. Yeah.
I just don't want to support Disney Plus, man.
All right. Why you don't want to add to the machine? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just I don't know, man. They let me down so many times. Like, I mean, can I really be that lost? I mean, like when I went into the pile of shit that was Andor, like, I
Right.
mean,
No, Andor sucked ass. But
I was lost the whole time watching that too, and I was like, there was no backstory.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Do you watch any Star Wars
I
at
just
all, Grant?
So, I got Disney Plus to see Mandalorian. That's
Yes.
the only reason I bought Disney.
That
Plus.
literally is the
Right.
only reason to have
And
it.
then I was like, but I had Hulu before, and it was like, well, the package I was paying for it already, so it made
It made sense
sense
to keep it. Yeah.
And I was like, you know, and then I caught up on all the stuff I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And then I just don't watch the stuff that I don't really want to watch.
Yeah. And
But-
you see how that works, Ian? If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch
But
it.
even so, like,
I don't even fucking.
Yo, he gave me the most incredulous look. Like,
I just don't even.
like, bitch, I know.
but
I'm aware.
Honestly, I think I watch Hulu more than Disney Plus
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah. But I tell you what, there are a few really good shows on Disney Plus that is worth watching and catching up on. If you're into the Star Wars and the Marvel, they have all of that there. Ahsoka Tano being one of the next really good shows. And if you like The Mandalorian, I would say this. If you love The Mandalorian, you could get past the first 3 episodes of Boba Fett. The Mandalorian takes over the show towards the end there,
Again,
and then it's dope.
Yeah. And it's funny because I went back and watched all the Star Wars
Yeah.
again because I was just like,
Yeah.
it's been so many years.
Sure, you catch up.
Yeah, and then I was like, all right, cool.
I did that. I did that with my girlfriend, and I remembered how much of a piece of shit Phantom Menace was. Oh my fucking god!
So you're sitting through it like,
I was
fuck, we gotta get through
apologizing
this.
to her. I kept like looking over at everything fucking Jar Jar Binks would say. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
As I've said before, the guy that played Jar Jar Binks has been on a 20-year apology tour. The poor guy, after playing that character.
As a kid, I remember like whenever it fucking came out, I was like 11, 12, whatever the hell it came out. I was like 6th, 7th grade. It was so cool. The pod racing, like when Darth Maul's second saber came out, everybody was like, "Holy shit!" As a kid, you don't care.
Right.
You don't care how bad the
Right.
My parents must have been pissed, like having to sit through that fucking movie. Like, god damn it, this fucking weird alien. Like,
So I got stuck at this is how long ago it was. It was drive-in movie theater, and I was so young that I was trying to feed what's his face, Chewy, food through the window.
I mean,
It's a good age.
did you get to feed him?
No,
Ah,
my fingers got
man.
caught in the window, and my father put them up. And I got in trouble for that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, why are you screaming? My fingers are stuck in the window.
Did one of your siblings roll the window up as you're trying to
No,
feed you?
I was the oldest. So I was the abuser, not the abusee.
That's usually how it goes in a family with
a good role.
siblings,
And
right?
then you
They're-
got older cousins that just torment you. So it's
Oh my god,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Cousins can be fucking assholes. I remember
can be.
one time visiting a family in Far Rockaway, and one of my cousins had this crazy, like, evil demon mask. And I'm just minding my own fucking business. I'm probably like 10, just hanging out, and this motherfucker jumps out of a corner wearing this mask. I swear to God, I died twice just running out of the room to the front door. I'm like, oh my God.
You died twice?
Yeah. So that definitely added to childhood trauma. Yeah,
man.
for sure.
I love all those videos that they post, like with like the scare pranks on the kids. And there's always that person. There's always that person like, this is not funny. Like you're gonna cause fucking trauma.
I mean, did you
I'm
have
like, you
any
have no-
trauma with you and your brother?
Yeah, but it's the cycle of life. I'm
That's
sorry.
right?
Like,
It's a part of fucking growing up. Like,
do I carry baggage from shit that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm glad of
like
that. It was
training
still,
day.
It was still
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It was still fucking hilarious.
Look, when we grew up in Brooklyn, right, the parks were as this. The older kids picked on the younger kids. The middle-aged kids picked on the younger than them kids. And as you grew up, like the pecking order changed. You're like, now I'm the big kid
Right.
picking on and that's how you got tough. That's how you learned your place in the world. Like, hey, no matter how tough you are in your circle, there's always one asshole over here
That'll beat
who's
the
tougher
shit-
than
that'll
you.
beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. And if he decides, you know what? I don't like what you're fucking doing today. I'm gonna whoop your ass for no reason.
Oh man.
That shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's
Did you have a similar experience in
the way it
growing
goes.
up in New
Yeah,
York?
my poor brother. So we had this life-size court jester, and they just looked like they were always looking at you when you walked around the room.
I'm scared by that description.
So we're
So
like,
wait, it was a statue? Like,
no, it was like a stuffed animal, but it was like they were expensive stuffed animals. I don't know
Right.
who in their right mind would buy one of these fucking things. It's like, you're like, all right. So my brother was petrified of it. So during the summer, you got the summers off. You don't know what
Yeah.
to do with yourself. So I started moving this thing like a half foot every day. Until it ended up at the edge of the bunk bed with its arms hanging over. Yeah, and it was just like, this was an ongoing thing, torturing my brother. And I'm like, I wonder if that's why he is the way he is. But I mean,
yeah.
you gotta find out though.
You
know?
definitely contributed to it.
yeah. And then going back to what you said about the pecking order, it's funny because like you have all these like, you know, they're kind of like tribes, I guess you'd say. And it's like you got the one special kid in the tribe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And you know, you pick on him and you kind of destroy him. But then all of a sudden, like somebody else's tribe tries to destroy him, and you're like, no, step off. This is my bitch.
Yeah.
Only we can torture this guy.
Our bitch was Randy. Our bitch was Randy.
And then he's like, I'm somebody's bitch, so it's not like jail.
He then finds his role in life. He feels he's happy.
Our bitch
I
Randy
belong.
would tell everyone that his parents were John Gotti. Like his dad's name was like Frank. You know what I mean? Like he was like
Frank Gotti?
He was like a mechanic somewhere. You know what I mean? Like
he still sounds tough. Frank.
We're like, yo, Randy, your dad is not John Gotti, bro. It's a fucking lie. But he would try to, he was always trying to look tough, and he would come to school with his hair slicked back, and it was just like, dude, we actually know you, and you're still trying to lie to us about this shit. So we would pick on him, and one day they stole his bike from, like, we were Avenue boys, and another Avenue stole his bike from him because he was running his mouth and doing this shit. So we're like, all right, we got to go get Randy's shit back. Of course, it was a couple, like, head slaps, like, you fucking moron, you're making us look bad. They robbed the bike. You know what I mean? Like, now we got to go back and we got to go get it.
It's like, Warriors, come out and play.
Yeah, exactly.
Great movie. Great film.
But that's how it was.
I mean, I beat Shay up a lot as a kid, but, all that happened to him was diabetes, tattoos, and he likes getting abused by women. So I think he turned out
that's
all right.
it. That's
Turned out all right. Not bad for a little brother.
Unreal.
You're doing all right, Shay.
No, Shay's actually a very intelligent, very, very good guy.
I don't know about that.
But he likes to correct people.
Oh, he's watching us right now.
Oh yeah, like he'll watch this video and send us like a list of 30 corrections. Like, well, you guys had that wrong.
Ian had powdered donut on his left forearm for most of the.
He'll remember
the film.
shit. Come and do the podcast and then correct us on the podcast. Like, you remember episode 34?
You notice how that side of the couch is really angry and this side is not very angry about it?
And I'm trying to figure out where I fit in.
Yeah.
I'm like in this
You'll
weird.
find out after Shay corrects.
I got like this weird pizza pie shape.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. Because normally this is the dead zone. I try to sit more towards that corner because then it looks like me and Nelson were like just like
Hey, boy.
leaning on each other.
Like some
Ed's the voice
banjo
of
shit he
reason
playing,
over
like ding 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 ding.
Exactly.
Ding.
Oh my god.
This is about to become an alternative podcast.
And it won't. So, aside Ahsoka, you guys watching anything new? Any new movies or old movies? Something that you picked up on TV shows?
I
Like
did
that?
not follow Alexis's advice on the 100th episode. I did not listen to him, and I watched The Pope's Exorcist the other day.
I watched it. I actually been downloading a lot of stuff from iTunes because there was just Netflix kind of went dry for a little bit.
Yeah.
So much so that I started watching Down for Love.
No lie.
Wait,
no
from
lie.
Exorcist to Down with Love.
I wasn't gonna talk about that. I may or may not have finished that. I'm just saying.
All right. I gotta hear. What do you guys find interesting about this show?
Bro, the one kid was like, I like alcohol and boobies, basically. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like,
So Ian,
First of all, I don't know what the fuck's going on in New Zealand,
Nah.
where some director at Netflix was like, "I've got an idea for a show. We're gonna take a bunch of Down syndrome kids, make them fall in love with each other." It's like, what? And someone greenlit it. Someone said, "Fuck yeah, here's the funding."
they're like, Generation X will get down with this. They're like, for sure.
I'll say I was watching this in a room full of chicks, and they were like hating on us because like some of the shit like the Down syndrome guys were doing on these dates are like, "Oh, I'm taking her for a helicopter ride to go look at the fucking volcano and shit," and like all the girls are going, "Step your fucking game up." I'm getting fucking, I'm getting outdone by Robert Downey over here. But here's I'm like, what the fuck's happening here?
Meanwhile, one of these kids would probably suplex you.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, super strength. Super strength.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen it firsthand in some brawls in New York, like at bowling alleys or some shit. Like one time we were in a bowling alley and it was a group of deaf kids that were there bowling, and the people next to them didn't understand that they were deaf and they were clowning them. But once the one kid realized, oh, they're making fun of us, they fucking wiped the floor with these guys. It was just like brute strength, just tossing motherfucking bowling balls are being chucked. I'm like, holy shit, we are leaving.
Oh my god.
Like, yo, but they didn't stand a chance. Once that rage kicked in, it was just like, oh man, I get that Hulk smash shit now. Like,
Yeah,
I really do.
I used to wrestle with this. My mom's one friend would bring her son over, and he was my age. His name was Daryl. This fucking kid, like all he did was watch like Lethal Weapon and WWE, and like she'd be like, "Yeah, you can go outside and wrestle with Daryl." Dude, Daryl used to fuck me up. Like, it wasn't even close. I would try.
Man.
I would try. I was like, oh, maybe I can use a speed advantage. No, once Daryl got a hold of me, bro, he had like fucking meat locker.
He wasn't
Yeah.
normal. He was a normal kid, was he?
Oh no, he was super Down syndrome. He'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
let's go."
So
And,
like,
we'd
Sloth
sla-
from
we'd
the
sla-
Goonies.
Yes, and it wasn't like slap hands go like in jiu-jitsu. Like we did like a whole WWE performance in the yard, and this dude would fucking lift me up and like slam me in the grass.
Oh,
like,
my
Jesus
God.
Christ, like he'd sit on me, like crank my head. I'm like, fucking hell.
Just like no wherewithal and no care in the world.
Not realizing that he's giving me like a chiropractic treatment.
Yeah.
Like he's just fucking moving my spine around.
You
I'm
know,
like, dude,
this explains a lot, Ian.
does it?
It does. It does. I now understand you more.
I don't know where Daryl's at now, but if he came in here, like I'd be like,
You're like, yo,
I'd
Daryl,
have
I'm gonna
PTSD.
fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck you up,
I would
Daryl.
try. I would try. I'd hit him with the fucking table.
Here's how we'll do it. This is how we'll do it. We'll send Eddie in first to soften him up a little bit. Right?
Daryl was unsolved.
Then I will go.
He was iron.
Then I'll jump in. All right. Give him some water and some caffeine and be like, go get Ian.
No, man. He would just stare at you. He would just stare at you.
With dead eyes.
Yeah,
right?
he was like-
just dead eyes.
Like pour out a pixie stick. Yo, snort this real
yeah.
quick.
It's like, no need. I brought my own.
Daryl was a force, man. He was a force.
He's
to
like,
reckon with.
All right,
Pop rocks and
so you guys are
Coca-Cola.
talking about love on the spectrum. So what about The Exorcist? You were saying The Exorcist.
Pope's
You watched it?
Exorcist.
Yeah, Pope's Exorcist. It's not good. It's not good, but it's not like a complete pile of shit. I just feel like the whole time it didn't know what the fuck it wanted to be.
Right.
Like the demons ended up being entertaining, which I know wasn't their like they tried to make
goal.
it scary, but like when I'm laughing at the evil kid in the bed doing shit to his family, I'm like, oh man, like you missed the fucking mark.
This was not supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, Russell Crowe did his best to speak Italian and come off as a priest, but he fucking didn't. Like, it was Russell Crowe in an outfit, and like they just tried. Like Alexis was not lying. They tried to end this movie. I don't know if they phoned it in. I don't know if it was a joke, but they tried to end this movie like it was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like they acted like there's going to be another movie and that there's this multiverse where like this old priest Russell Crowe and this young new priest they introduce are going to travel around and fight Satan. I was like, fuck no. I'm not signing up for episode 2 of this shit. Like, no, you got this one movie out of me, and that's fucking it.
That's
like,
it.
No, if the Pope Exorcist 2 comes out, no, I will not fucking.
Everybody
I might
wants
see
their
it.
cinematic universe.
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
the opposite of the last horror film.
But
we
how
watched.
can you make a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10 horror movie and expect to launch a cinematic universe?
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Do you concur with Ian?
Yeah, it's sort of like Warrior Nun. Where are you going with this? I mean, it's
You
like
can only go so
Warrior
far.
Nun.
And again, that was Netflix. You get to
Yeah.
this point where you have nothing to watch, and it seems to be a certain time of the
Yeah.
year, and you're like, all right, well, I'm gonna gobble this up.
I tell you a good show to watch that went completely under the radar, and it was called Badlands. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix.
It was on AMC.
It's a fantastic show,
Yeah.
actually. Really deep into like gangs of New York kind of a vibe with martial arts fighting. And then like the one guy, like kind of like the chosen one in the middle with, his kid and everything, like as they do in most martial arts epics. But the fight scenes are fucking brutal. The main villain actually is fantastic. I don't know if you've seen, what's that movie with Orlando Bloom? We were talking about it last
Yeah, because
time.
Kingdom of
he
Heaven?
does
Kingdom
so
of
few
Heaven.
movies.
Yeah.
That narrows
Pirates
it
of the
down.
Caribbean?
So you ever seen Kingdom of Heaven?
No, not at all.
Dude, another fantastic movie. But there's this French guy in there that you love to hate him. Like you watch a good movie, you need a really great villain.
Oh, he plays the Templar in that.
Yes,
yeah, he's
yes.
a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he plays the main villain for the first 2 seasons.
But
of
to be
Badlands.
fair, I think if you just overly play a French guy, like you just come
you
off.
just come off as an asshole
As a
by
villain.
design. Yeah. So Badlands and Kingdom of Heaven. If you haven't seen it, fucking fantastic, epic war movie.
Still remember that guy at the Ren Fair saying the universal French greeting was.
I surrender.
God.
I surrender.
Oh, it's so good.
Have you ever been to a Ren Fest out here?
Yeah, actually, years ago I went years ago because we were mountain biking over at the Quiet Waters, and we
Nice.
decided to go and see if there was food there.
We
Oh,
went
food.
as an
There's food,
actual.
definitely food.
We went as an actual horde of Vikings this
Yeah,
year.
you should come with us.
It was
Good
fucking
time.
fun. We went to this
There were
section.
wenches aplenty.
Wenches aplenty. Yeah, and
Wenches
we went to
aplenty.
this one section where they were giving us mead.
Oh, dude, I got.
The
Fucking,
dude loved us so
it
much.
was
He's
so
like,
hot. It was so hot out. It was not a good decision to just do fucking 30 shots of weed.
Yeah, he's just
as we were going into the park.
He's like, normally I'm supposed to give 3, but you guys are fun. So he just kept bringing out bottles from the back and just giving us 3 shots.
We're wearing like fur and plate mail. It's like, fuck. It's
the
so
wrong
hot.
time of the year for that.
Oh,
Yes.
it is. But you know what? You fucking suck it up and you do it.
Okay, the Viking costume was like one thing. Like at least I was open, like in a lot of areas. The Witcher costume,
that's tough.
It was such a bad idea to drink. Like I was marinating in this thing. Like, I was like, there was no air coming in and out. I was dying. I was literally dying.
Well, that's
I lost 7 pounds in the day.
I was walking around with this bad boy, and for the first 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is cool. The rest of the day, my arm was like bruised from holding this wooden shield. My arm is like hanging down to the floor. I'm like, fuck.
Now imagine
this sucks.
Imagine doing that for a couple hours while trying to kill people.
I mean, I would think that would excite you a little more. A little bit of mushrooms, you're killing people, you know.
Yeah, but once you start taking the mushrooms, the armor comes off.
That's right, man. You just go in.
You're just dick swinging.
You're on a side voyage.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting down and there was this like teenager walking by in like a dragon costume. You were there, right? Yeah. I was like, slay the dragon. The kid turns around and he said, please don't. Please don't. I was like, all right, you get a free pass. That was funny. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I noticed like they sold like the pixie ears at the door. It was like a rite of passage. You're
Yeah.
You're like looking around. You're like, all right.
No, people walk around with actual weapons, and their idea of safety is a zip tie. They're like, all right, it's peacetime. We're gonna put a zip tie on this actual sword or knife that you're walking around with. But everybody's pretty relatively friendly, so nobody's dueling in the courtyard, you know.
Yeah, you can go to a dueling area though.
Yes,
They have the foam
You actually
weapons.
have that,
yeah. The foam weapons are fun.
If you have the sudden urge to just beat the shit out of your friends with a foam weapon,
yes,
then you can
and
do
they
that.
will taunt you as you walk
Oh
by.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
They seen Ian, right?
Fuckers.
And they're like, "Look at this big motherfucker." They're like, "Come on, jump in here. I'll fight you." And Ian's like, "I'm just trying to hang out.
fucking hang out.
I'm
with
trying to
my
hang out with
friends,
my friends here, bro."
The guy like yelling at my girlfriend. He's like, "You need to find yourself a real man." Like, you motherfucker.
Was he a jester?
No, he was just the guy at that
They're
booth.
just the guy at the fucking stand. Like, I was like, son of a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
You know what it is though? It's fun because
power
they
double
really-
legging through his own fucking table.
Yeah.
You know?
They really do get into character. So like the people that are dressed like kings and queens, they're trying to act all royal and shit. And you got the pickle guy, who's one of my
The worst.
favorite,
The biggest troll
favorite
in the whole park.
motherfuckers at the
Biggest
park.
troll in the whole park.
So he has like pickles on a stick, and he refuses to give it to you. The only way you're gonna get this pickle, Ian.
He has to put it in your mouth.
So if you want
Doesn't
his
even
pickle,
sound like a
if
fun
you
game,
want his
man.
pickle, you're gonna get it in your
Did he
mouth.
tell you to close your eyes?
Pickle.
He's like, close your eyes.
Yeah, he'll tell you. He might tell you to close your eyes, but if you close your eyes, he's gonna like tap you in the face. It's so bad.
You're gonna be
It's
like
so bad.
stand on somebody's shoulder.
And the worst thing, he can sense weakness. So
Oh,
if you're with your wife or girlfriend and you're walking like he'll be like, sir, do you want like, you know, like does your wife want a pickle or whatever? if you try to like go away and ignore him, whatever, he'll fucking go in like 100%.
Oh,
He'll be
yeah.
like, you know she wants my fucking pickle. Like, he'll just start going like. He is the worst troll in the whole. The best thing to do is just go buy a pickle.
Then
Just,
you're
you
like
know,
this. You're like, oh, then bitch your mother. Gloves off.
I want 2 pickles now.
So like you can't even walk down that one street at the Ren Fair because you got the one guy at the foam weapon place just talking shit the whole time. Like, oh, you fucking pussy. Like, you know.
You got foam weapon here, pickle guy on the corner, and then right here is the tomato guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's it just crushes your ego. You
And the
can't-
tomato guy has a microphone because he's talking to
yes.
everyone passing by because he wants you to throw tomatoes at him.
Oh, he was making fun of this one. Last time I was there, he was making fun of this one fat kid that was throwing tomatoes at him, and he was not holding back. He's like, I see your tits flapping. I mean, I was like, Jesus God, dude. I was like, you're just, and the kid was like, I thought the kid was about to cry. I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I'm not signing
Bro,
up for that.
so
I got a
going
ponytail, bro. I
Yeah,
ain't doing
goddamn
that.
right.
Going on to fat kids. So
Now that we're on the subject.
growing up, I grew up. And I'd hung out with these Irish kids. They were kind of big. They were cool. But then they lived next door to the Italian kids.
Right.
And one of the brothers was way overweight and was always covered in like chocolate candy, whatever. And the one little kid, the Italian kid, would talk some smack.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, the one kid,
As
I'm
Italian
not
kids do.
dropping names because it's just
Yeah,
bad.
of course.
So anyway, so the one fat kid, he kind of grew up and I get something clicked, and he's like, you can't make fun of me if it doesn't penetrate. He's like, one day we're all sitting there, he's like, did any of that shit hit your, like, get into your mouth? He's like, does it look like I fucking missed? He's like, and he's big, and he's just like, yeah, and I'm just like, I was like, there you go. Like, all right, cool, here we go. So it started getting interesting because
I fucking miss.
The balance. The
balance
shifts.
starts. They start getting witty, and it's like, you ain't shit. You know?
Yeah. And that's really what it is. That's coming of age. It's like, but those are the things that I think a lot of these kids today are missing. Like, we were latchkey kids. We hung out on the block. We rode our bikes. We disappeared. We played sports all day. We came home with cuts, bruises, lumps.
I'm just gonna
broken
guess.
body parts.
I'm just gonna guess that latchkey kids means you were Native Americans. That's what I guess.
No.
Yeah.
It means like.
That's what I heard.
as
Oh, they're
soon
members
as-
of the latchkey tribe.
Your
All right,
parents
got
would
it.
go to work and they would say, "Get the fuck out, go play outside." And then when the lights were coming on at night, your ass better be home.
Yeah, because you didn't have the privilege of both one parent staying home, so it was kind of like to
yeah.
survive, they both had to work.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I was a latchkey.
Yeah. So and then the neighborhood kids would like you would form your group and those would be your people all day. Like we would take care of each other. We would do stupid shit together, but we always looked out for each other at the end of the day. Like you would get into like a fist fight with your best friend in the morning. And then by the afternoon, you're fucking sharing a slice of pizza and playing arcade games again. Like, it's not like today, like...
Yeah.
And, like, even then, too, like, the parents would fuck you up. Like, if I'm doing some stupid shit over here, and, like, Vinny's mom comes out, she's like, Vinny, Nelson, what are you doing? Pat, pat. And then she'd call my mom, and we'd go over there, like,
get
thinking
your
we're
ass
getting
kicked
away from
again.
it. Yeah, my mom was
like
waiting
the
at the door.
It was like Stouffer's.
I got my ass beat by the whole fucking neighborhood. Right? Everybody's parent beat my ass. At
You're
least
like-
once. At least
Yeah,
once.
but it was a part of growing up and understanding, again, pecking order. The adults are there to teach you, like, hey, your kids are doing some stupid shit, and your parents are at work, so it's like I'm the adult in the room to make sure that you guys aren't gonna put yourself in jail or in the hospital, you know. And that's how it was just growing up, you know. You grew up in what area again?
I grew up in York, Pennsylvania, but I was in like the country ass like Red Lion.
So
backward.
suburban.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Not really.
Did
No,
they
we're-
have teeth?
Some of us did.
Okay, all right. So
We usually had to borrow.
Borrow?
Yeah, like one person would use the teeth 1 week.
did you guys like ride alligators to work and shit?
No, we had mountain lions though.
Mountain lion.
Yeah, we had mountain lions.
No. We had no mountain lions in Brooklyn.
No.
I had the best of both worlds because I'd go back and forth because we grew up primarily on the island, but then I'd bounce around, so we kind of knew. And then all the transplants, it was like everybody was transplants. They'd be coming from the city back to the island.
So a lot of
back and forth.
trans in your area?
Trans? No, I don't know about that. They didn't come so much later. And it was funny because
Nowadays,
like, you know, being that close to the city, like we had a lot more going on faster than I noticed out here because I had cousins that lived out here, and you were just like, stuff happened so much faster than all the trends would hit here later, and it was like, all right.
It did, and that we learned when we moved to Pennsylvania. We lived in Mount Pocono for a little while, and it was
got in
like
trouble out
everything
there.
was super fast. And then you moved to Pennsylvania, and it was just like a standstill. But the kids still got into trouble. It was just different. Because
brewing
everybody,
moonshine.
people are like, "Yo, I got a spot," and you drive your car into the woods, like through the tree line, park your shit, and there would be like couches set up in the middle of the woods. Pop open a trunk, play some music, and everybody was just hanging out over there. It was like Children of the Corn shit.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was
sounds
fun
about right, yeah.
in a different way. I remember the first time though. They're like, yo, we're going to Mr. Z's to hang out. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a dope club. I get there. Mr. Z's is a chain of supermarkets. So these kids would, because it was so cold in Pennsylvania, instead of hanging out outside and they didn't have a place to go, they would hang out where the shopping carts were at Mr. Z's.
That's crazy.
And so I hung out with those kids all of 30 minutes, and I was like, you guys are the wrong group of friends. I'm out. Found another group of people that actually had indoor residency. So, yeah.
We would just freeze outside. We would all just hang out. It was like you'd be frozen, and you're like, still, you're 14, 13, drinking 40s, hanging out.
Oh,
in a
yeah.
sack. You're just like numb, but you didn't want to go home.
Yeah, no,
It was-
you didn't, because it was boring home,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
It's not like today. We didn't have tablets and computer. Like, I think we had a Nintendo, and I think we didn't get a computer. When we did, it was the Commodore 64.
It was old. It was an old
It was an
computer.
old ass
And it was
computer.
like when you graduating to college, it seemed like at 99, around 98, 97, 96, like it started transitioning, and it
Yeah.
was like computers became somewhat affordable.
Yeah.
But your parents were still kicking you out of the house, and you're still pausing the Nintendo on the tube TV, and the the screen would get burnt into it.
Yeah.
You're like, all right. And
I remember we had the Nintendo, and when one of our friends got the Super Nintendo, we were like, "The fuck is this piece of shit?" And then, because my friend Nick, he was like the rich kid in the neighborhood, so we was like, "Yo, we're going to Nick's house." Like, he had a pool. Like, we went over there.
Nintendo.
We were having like stovetop stuffing. We're like, "This is the shit in the commercials."
He's got more than
Sunny D.
He's got more than 3 games to choose from.
Yeah, like, you know, so we would hang out over there, and you know, that was a part of the fun though too.
I
Like, growing up.
remember like the local video store.
Yeah.
Like before Blockbuster, you'd be going in there, you'd be like, I'm getting this, it's coming out, and you'd hold on to it for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Because like you like all your money, you're just like, I'm gonna rent it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. And then the comic, they sold comic books there. It
Mm-hmm.
was just a different time. You ride your bike up there. You weren't supposed to ride your bike. You
Yeah.
like, it was an adventure. Everything was an adventure.
I miss the comics at gas stations and shit. That was the best. The
Yeah.
comic rack.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
7-Eleven had them.
Yep.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough. We had a local comic book store like right in walking distance from where we were.
Well, we had 2. Because once you hit the avenue, you had one if you went to the left or one you went to the
Yeah.
right.
The one to the right was only like a block and a half away.
Yeah.
And it was cool because like that was like where I really got my taste of like even The Hobbit. That's where I got The Hobbit as it was like graphic novel form. The Death of Superman. I
What about
remember.
Marvel?
I remember that was big. That
Death
was
of
huge.
Superman like
Yeah.
had everybody around the. That was the first time I seen like people like lining up like GameStop shit for like a video game launch.
People that
The
didn't
Death of
buy
Superman.
comics were like, I need to get a copy.
They're like, this is
Yeah.
gonna be worth so much money, and then they fucked everybody over.
They flooded the market with that comic.
There was 2 big things that made superheroes popular in New York. It was the Death of Superman, and then it was the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton. When that came out, that was the first time I seen grown men walking around with like that yellow bat symbol or the Batman hat. I was like, yo, people are really into this shit. Michael Keaton killed it. He delivered the goods, and it was huge for
So did Jack
New York.
Nicholson. Jack Nicholson killed.
Oh
it.
yeah, Jack Nicholson was a great fucking Joker. He really was.
And he lived.
Yeah, and he lived.
He lived.
Remember when he pulled out that gun? It just kept going,
It was
kept
just
going,
gigantic.
kept going, and then bang! I was like,
shot the
this
bat plane out of the
motherfucker.
air. With that gun.
Yeah, that was a good time growing up. Like nowadays, these kids they have a completely different lifestyle. I see even a lot of the kids growing up. Everybody's on tablets. They're on computers, and so it's like it's our job to like force them out into the world to like go play outside, go do this,
Go do
that.
something physical
go
for
do
once.
something that's gonna.
It's good to
change
have
that.
balance. You know.
They used to kick us out and say, don't come home. And then on top of that, they had a commercial at 10 o'clock to make sure you were in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you forget you had kids?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's 10
yeah,
o'clock.
You might want to check. It's 10
Yeah.
o'clock. Where are they at?
Yeah, those commercials aren't around anymore because they're not going outside. We can save some money.
Like-
My mom had a bell.
A bell?
Oh, yeah,
My
we-
mom would just scream.
Yeah.
My people were scared of my
Get
mom.
your ass inside.
The kitchen window. So we were the only building on the block.
Right.
Everything else was like condos, duplexes,
Right.
individual houses. So the window was high enough they kind of like the sound would echo over the roofs and onto the street, so
Yeah.
we could be heard.
Oh wow.
So,
And we had
My mom rang a bell that would go through the whole valley. No matter where you were in the valley, like if my mom rang that bell, you heard it. You could be a mile away and you hear that bell ringing. And so no matter where the hell we were, when that bell rang, it meant there's dinner on the table. Get your ass.
You
on.
better get
So,
your
yeah.
ass. And it doesn't matter what the dinner is. You're gonna eat it.
you don't
Oh,
get
yeah.
to choose.
Yeah.
You're gonna eat that shit. Yeah,
And we didn't have a dog.
yeah. No, my mother would make it very clear, like, you're not getting off this table until you're done eating that food. And that's exactly how it went.
So hopefully you worked up an appetite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did. I remember one time my sister, though, she threw her food out the window. Oh, no. And the landlord to the building, my father was the super in the building, was walking around outside. And she fucking threw the plate of cereal onto his head. He came upstairs like, I think your daughter's throwing food out the window.
Yeah.
That was one of the very few times like I got to enjoy another person in the house catching a beating. 'Cause usually it was me. yeah.
So the dynamic at the table, dinner table, we would so my sister, she had a weak stomach. So my brother and I would just start going, and my brother would go, and then parents would be like, stop, and she'd be like, and then you're like, and then she's like, right off the table into the bathroom. And then we'd be getting in trouble. Yeah, and it would start, and then we'd get our asses kicked, and she'd be throwing up. Like school lunch at the school, like, you know how they had sent home the calendar of what was being fed during what day? Well, every time there was those hot dogs being made, she would call sick. She'd be like, I don't feel good, come pick me up. Nobody knew what it was, and all of a sudden they realized it was those boiling hot dogs. Yeah.
Oh, the hot dogs were nasty.
Yeah.
The pizza was good. I know when we moved to
Because it was like Ilio's.
Yeah, when we moved to Pennsylvania, that's when like lunch was like, oh shit. It was like a campus. Like we went from like Shittsville, Brooklyn high school lunch to like it was like chocolate milk with every meal. Like I don't fucking get it. Like chocolate milk, regular milk. You know, if you're buying your lunch there and you're not bringing it with you, they had some options, but none were very good. Pizza was good, and then like popcorn chicken.
Yeah.
The burgers were all right.
When I was in school, there was this spicy chicken sandwich. When that hit the market, it was like, oh my
Game
god.
over.
We had a
Everybody.
spicy chicken
We
sandwich.
had a spicy chicken sandwich, and they would bring it out in a fucking tray, like a tray of these aluminum wrapper wrapped spicy chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
And that lady used to get mollywopped. She would be coming out, this little old lady trying to go, and like at first, when it started, we would be organized. We'd wait for the tray to go down, and then we'd take it. By the end of the fucking first year, I mean, we would
First come, first serve.
bum rush this lady. I even saw her get knocked down before. I've seen her get knocked down and trampled. And we're just grabbing. I mean, I remember I fucked somebody up one time because I had waiting for a good position, and I was like in 11th grade, I think. Yeah. And like the chicken hits the table, and I go in to grab it, and as I go in to grab it, this hand comes this way underneath my arm. I didn't know who it is, but it was a tiny hand. I don't know if it was Greek or Italian, whatever. But I saw the arm come in, and he grabbed onto the sandwich I had. Well, anyway, I had it with this hand. So I just lined up my elbow like this, and I just started to fucking fire it backwards like this. And I knew I was hitting meat. I knew I was catching something. I was catching a cheek or a forehead or something. And I watched the hand just go, and just retreat from the fucking, with each strike. I could feel the hand let go, and I just took this. I was like, fuck, I probably killed it.
And that's how MMA was. That's how MMA was. Born.
No, I just like that sandwich was important.
Hey,
like,
listen,
that sandwich was the meal. Like
I remember the transition from like middle school to high school, and then the lunch changed. Like you had like the hot lunch line where you'd have like the nasty burger that was like kind of green, like a puck. Then you had like pizza, but then you'd have these sandwiches.
Yes.
And it was like there was a sandwich line, and you're like, all right. So I was like, I'm gonna get BLTs, and you get like the mayo, and it was just like squeezing it on. It was all mayo. We were like, all right, this was cool. But then they had the fucking snack line on the other side, and we just realized we were like, I like Snapple iced tea. I like a cookie, and I like the bagels. And the bagels wouldn't just come like they smeared it on. They were so lazy they cut a brick, like an actual brick of butter, or what do you call it? Cream cheese, and like. There'd be leftover shit on the bagels, so you didn't know what to do with it. So it was just trouble. You would like throw it up on the ceiling, and then the next day you'd see a hole because the rats would eat through the ceiling. And then my friend Glenn would get bored because he wouldn't want to eat those, like they were like brownies, but they weren't brownies. It was like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
And he's like throwing at the girl with lazy eye. It was lazy eye. Yeah. And I remember he's like, yo Grant, check this out. And he's sitting there, and he started doing spitballs, and he's like shooting them, putting it under his arm, and then all of a sudden I remember one day he's like, shoots, and the girl's like, there they are, and I was like, and Glenn's like, run Grant, run, and I'm like, oh fuck, that was the relationship with Glenn and I. We were always getting into trouble, and our names were always put together. It was Glenn
right
and Grant.
because
They
you
never
were a duo.
separated.
You were a duo.
Batman, Robin, whatever you want to call it.
I know I also only paid for like one spicy chicken sandwich in my entire high school career. The rest of them were like stuffed in my baggy jeans. In one of the pockets. So I'd have the regular school lunch, which I'd get for like the discount food program my family was on, and I'd like sit down and I'd be like, spicy chicken sandwich. It was so bad.
What did you do with the saved lunch money?
Oh fuck, I don't know. Probably something important.
something very important.
Save for college.
But do you guys remember like the skipper? I think every school had like that one kid who thought, I'm never waiting in the fucking line. I'm gonna skip to the front. Try me if you want to. I will fucking die on this fucking hill. And I remember one time we were waiting, and I had this friend of mine. He was a really nice guy, but he was fucking huge. And he was like one of the few people like in school who's like, I take karate, you know what I mean? And like I'm like, you know, we're watching Bruce Lee, so we're like, oh man, he's a badass, you know what I mean? I'm hanging out with Mario, he does karate and shit. All right, so
Back when karate still meant something.
yeah. And so he's
Way
watching
back
this kid skip, and like that day, I don't know what happened to him. Either he failed the test, his girlfriend dumped him, something. And he was just like, he's not fucking skipping today. He's like, hey, get in line like the rest of us. He's like, fuck you. And I was like, dun dun dun, like the sea spread of kids, and it was just like, fight. Like you get into that circle, and bro, he came with the only fly kick. Like I was like some serious like 3 Ninja shit, like boom, and he was legitimately like 6 feet tall, like 200 pounds in high school.
He was a big boy.
Yeah. You remember him? Yeah. Fight was done. It was over. Motherfucker never skipped again. But that's again like learn that lesson in life as a kid.
You gotta learn the hierarchy.
Nobody was really seriously injured. He caught a fly kick. He got embarrassed, but he also learned, hey man, you can't keep doing this shit because somebody someday is gonna fucking test you and they're gonna call you out on your bullshit. And I remember one time I did some sneaky ass shit where there was this kid and he was bothering my god sister, and like in a sexual way. And I warned him like, hey man, leave my god sister alone. She doesn't like you. Stop. So he grabbed her ass as she was leaving class one day, and I just happened to just go to the bathroom and I'm watching him at the, you know, those water fountains?
Yeah,
like
the
he doesn't
porcelain
even
water
see me.
fountain.
Like I opened the door and he's drinking at the water fountain. I'm like, huh. I ran up to him, grabbed him by the head and said, bang! Chipped the tooth.
Fuck yeah.
I took off. He didn't even know it was me. Nobody knew it was me. I kept my mouth shut. I'm just like, they're like, oh man, you hear what happened to so-and-so? He's got a chipped tooth now. Somebody attacked him. I was like, man, that sucks. Guess he shouldn't fuck around with people. But man, it was like God gave it to me. I opened the door. I came down the stairs. I was like, wham!
He gave you just a window to like.
Yeah. But again, it was like, bitch, you were told like stop. You didn't listen, so eventually it's gonna catch up.
A little harmless lesson.
Yeah. So you got like a diagonal tooth. You know what I mean?
Now he'll be suspicious at water fountains, right? He'll be like at a fucking baseball
I'm sure
game.
he just like he excommunicated water for the rest of his life. He's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. Now he fills water bottles and like just puts it back to the wall. Nope.
You ever had a sneaky vengeance school moment? Any of you guys?
Dude, there was so much shit that went on in school. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea. I can go on for days, but I remember like the small kid coming in, and my school was kind of fucked up. So this kid came in, we get picked on by this bigger kid.
Yeah.
And one day he comes in, the small kid comes in with some knuckles.
But like brass knuckles.
Real brass knuckles.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, so-and-so. Clapped him hard.
Oh, fuck.
Broke his jaw, handed the knuckles off to another friend like it never happened. They both got taken out. It was just like things like that would happen. It was kind of like people were getting stabbed at parties. Like, it was weird, but I just remember one kid dropping acid in an English teacher's coffee.
Yeah.
And she's getting pulled out on a stretcher reaching up for like apples.
Yeah, 'cause
like,
she doesn't know.
Yeah.
When you don't know what's happening and it hits you like that, that really can
Yeah, and I
fuck
was
you
just
up.
like, and
That could
and it
be a
was-
bit scary.
Yeah, and it was one of those things like, yo, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Snitches get stitches, as they say. Just like,
Me and Casey dropped acid in the slushy machine.
we dropped X-Lax.
There had to be a lot of fucked up kids that day.
There were some kids that didn't know what they were feeling, and then the thing is, when you dropped it, we had laced sugar cubes.
Yeah.
So when we popped the lid on the red and blue slushy, we put like 3 in the red, 3 in the blue, closed it. The sugar's just gonna melt and become part of the slushy. But you don't know where the shit is dissolved.
So you're microdosing everybody.
And me and Casey didn't fucking tell anybody.
Yeah.
We didn't tell anybody we did this. And we just waited for lunchtime. We just fucking waited for lunchtime. Casey was crazy.
Yeah.
Casey even got a slushy.
He's like, I want in on this action.
Casey even got a slushy.
He's like, this is gonna be a good time.
I didn't. I fucking was like, fuck that. I'm just gonna sit here at the table and see what happens, bro. And some people, you know,
Yeah.
one girl was in the nurse. Like, it's funny to go by the nurse's office like an hour after lunch because there was like girls in there holding their heads screaming. I was like, it's okay, ride it out, babe. You're all right. You're all right.
3 hours left.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was you know, putting it in her coffee though. That's just blasting her.
I don't know if kids have these stories these days. I'd like to hear what
No.
goes on. It's like they don't.
No, nowadays you get in trouble, you're suspended immediately, and everybody is guilty by association.
Oh, yeah.
So I've had a situation where something happened. My daughter created a game, and she created the game because there was a kid who nobody wanted to play with.
Right.
So she deliberately created a game that required enough people where to play it. Hey, this kid has to play also.
That's
Right.
pretty noble.
To get everybody involved. One of the kid writes something stupid on the paper. She's like, fuck it, whatever. Rips it up, throws it out, starts the game again. Somebody finds the paper, and it doesn't matter that they could see the handwriting. This is the kid that did it. Everybody got in trouble. Everyone that played the game got in trouble. It's like, but you can see it. The kid admits it. Kid admits, I did it.
Right.
And everyone else is like, well, we didn't do it.
Right.
They did it. So we started a new game. We're like, we don't need that dumb shit. Throw it out. Started a new game. Keep everybody playing. But everybody got in trouble. So it's like you're doing the whole meeting thing.
Yeah.
And it's like talking to a wall where you're listening to a child say, but if I don't play with her, nobody else will. But they don't care.
Yeah.
So now all the kids are looking at this other, like, oh, we can't play this game anymore. So now this kid's left out, this kid's left out. And then they're like, well, why are some of these kids feeling like they got no friends? Well, because you're setting up the situation where one mistake and
Gets
they're
everybody in trouble.
ostracized from everybody else. So now nobody, because now all the parents come in. You can't play with that kid. You can't play with that kid. Nobody can. And then nobody is being pulled into to actually enjoy anything.
Right.
What happened to like survival of the fittest? You know what I'm saying? Like Darwinism. Like it's just like let it be. It'll work its way out.
And kids should be allowed to make mistakes, right?
They should.
That's the big thing. Like when we were young, we made mistakes, we learned a lesson, and then we moved on.
I never liked the fucking rule that they instituted. I remember I was in high school and they instituted the if there's a fight, both kids get the equal pay punishment.
Yep.
Right.
I remember when they did that rule. They were like, okay, well, but it got to the point where like this kid can slide you, and you're getting fucking fined too. You're getting fined. You're both getting fined, and you're both getting the suspension. So I used to tell people straight up, like, I'm letting you know, I'm not because I had a reputation in school. I'm like, listen, if you hit me or you start shit with me, I'm beating the fucking shit out of you.
Yeah, because
my mom, make it worth
my
it.
mom is a single mom. My mom is like cleaning houses and shit to make bills. I was like, if you charge my mom $300 for fucking fighting
and
fine,
I can't eat. You're dead.
I'm taking all $300 out of your ass, out of your fucking ass. I'm putting your head in the bathroom door and slamming it. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, so you better, if you hit me and start it, you better make sure it's worth that $300 because your hospital bill is gonna be a hell of a lot fucking more than that.
There were a couple guys told me Ian pounds cheeks, man. He is
I clapped
taking
the
it
fuck
out of your ass.
Yes, I'm taking every cent out of your ass. Every little Abraham Lincoln penny right out of your fucking ass.
He's playing Queen in the background. He's pounding cheeks, baby. We
right.
are the champions,
That's right.
my friends.
I grew up with a friend with a similar situation. His father passed away in third grade from leukemia,
Yeah.
something like that, and like single mom trying to make it, you know. And she married some dude that was a horrible guy, and he was getting abused that way, and then he was suffering on other issues. Well, there was a teacher that was picking on him, and they went all out. And this kid, 12 years old, had a full beard. You know what I'm saying? So they got into a fight. The teacher and him throwing fists, not just like desks with flying. You remember those? You were talking earlier about the water fountain, the porcelain water fountain. That thing got ripped off the goddamn wall, and it was like both the teacher and the kid got suspended. And it was like, but I mean, like, and he knew how to fight too.
How much of a pussy are you as a teacher? And
You got a full fight with a 12-year-old
Dude, but he was
kid.
like, he looked like you at 13 with a beard.
Oh fuck!
If he looked like you, we fighting, bro. Listen, I'm fighting for my life at that point.
And he knew how to throw hands because he was like, he had the older brothers and they were all rough,
Right, and they all
rocky,
roughed
the
him
whole
up.
nine. It
So
was
the
just
teacher
like,
was on a disadvantage.
yeah, like the teacher was getting, like he squared off the wrong kid, and I was just like,
fuck.
Yeah.
it was just a weird time, and things were just different.
Yeah, I know we got 2 teachers to quit. Okay, so I may or may not have led the charge on this, but like the teacher would come in and it was like the golden rule was like, hey, if we're behaving all week long, Friday I'm not going to give you guys homework.
That's what's
And
up.
then so we
Fair
were behaving, but this asshole teacher always found a way to give us homework on Friday. Like, well, you know, Rebecca didn't pay attention on Monday, and I kept note of it. So guess what? You guys got Friday. We're like, fuck. she's shooking the fucking system here. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, we're gonna fuck with this teacher to no end. So first it started with we'd get in there before the teacher would get in the class. We'd steal all the chalk, all the erasers, all the rulers, the pens, the pencils, everything out of the desk, take them, throw them out. So when she would come in, the first thing they'd have to do is roll call. And so she's like, oh, I can't find a pen. All right, fuck, I'll be right back. She goes across, gets the pen, she doesn't really notice. Like, all right, today's lesson. Where's the fucking chalk? I'll be right back. So now it's 30 minutes into a 45-minute class. And guess we got no homework. We didn't learn anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you know, what were those tests? Like the California Achievement Test? That shit was like fucked.
God.
And they would, the school systems would get fucked if enough kids aren't passing those. So it was like 2 weeks in a row of just practical jokes. One time I had the whole class get in. We turned all the desks, including hers that was at the front, to the other side. So now we're facing the back of the classroom. She walks in. She's like, come on, everybody. Turn around. We're like, what are you talking about? This is over. She's like, please face the chalkboard. You want us to turn to the back of the room? Like, everybody's being a dick to her. She go out, get the principal, get security. Like, all right, everybody, turn these desks around. Like,
Bro.
She cursed us out. So one day, sorry, I'm wrapping it up. She came in and like she was like, I fucking had it with you kids. You guys are assholes. Da, 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 da. And we're like, oh my God, you're cursing at us? They gave her an ultimatum to like quit or leave this. She's like,
psychological warfare.
Fuck this.
Do you remember the TVs that would come in the day that you'd
Oh,
watch
they'd
movies?
roll them in.
That was the shit.
That was the
because you
best
wouldn't have
day.
to. But this other kid brought in a porno and threw it in.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and the thing's blaring. The teacher's like, "What the fuck?" You know, they're freaking out, turning red. And then another, like this kid Vinny, he passed away unfortunately at a young age. But he was smart, too smart. But his parents were like, I don't know, like geriatrics by the time he was in like high school.
Right.
But he was into computers and he was pulling the leaves off the women and the men to like, during the biology class, and the teacher couldn't get back, but she knew it was Vinny. She was like, Vinny, put it back. And he goes, it wasn't me. And he's like, yeah. It was just like.
Do you remember when those Casio watches, they were like remote controls for TVs came out?
And they were the calculator?
Yeah, the calculator.
Yeah.
There was one kid who had one, and like when they put the TV on, he's like shutting the TV off, shutting the thing off, and like, what the fuck is going on? Like, she's like, what's going on here? Yeah,
Dude,
put it back on.
we watched some wild fucking movies, like in school, like as a kid, like the movies they would put on, like as they were teaching you like a lesson and shit. Like I remember we watched Saving Private Ryan,
Schindler's
like,
List.
Schindler's List.
Yep.
Fuck, dude, my one class, I forget what the hell it was. I don't know if it was it was psychology or whatever the hell it was. But we watched American History X.
Ooh,
I was like, how? I remember just sitting there going,
that's a rough one.
I'm like, how in the fuck
Are we watching this?
Like, I think we had to sign something.
I think your
Can you
teacher had.
imagine
I think your
playing?
teacher had an agenda. He's looking around the room like. His eyes are sparkling.
Yeah.
Hey,
like,
Tony, come
I have
speak to me. Speak to me after class. I have
He's
a
like-
club
yeah,
I
he's
want
like,
you to join.
Tony, I have a pamphlet for you.
Yeah.
Pamphlet
like-
for you,
And it
Tony.
comes with a special hoodie.
Do you want to come to my house? And watch Faces of Death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, Faces of Death.
Yeah.
When that came out, I think I seen one video. I'm like, I'm out.
What was the
I'm
video?
out.
What was the video?
I think it was the train tracks.
I watched The Monkey.
It was train tracks for me, and I'm like, I'm done.
Dude, it was just like, it was a different time, and stuff would come out, and it was like, there was really no, like,
It would go around.
superimposing stuff. And,
No. It
Yeah,
was
people
like, holy
actually
shit.
passed off the VHS
Yeah.
and reliably got passed on to the next person. I don't think you could do that now.
No, you can't.
that's how things
that was
went
like
viral.
that was like graffiti books. Like, everybody would write graffiti and they'd leave and they'd come back. You'd get your book and it went to like Germany. And
Yeah.
came back. And, like, you wouldn't think it would come back, and you're like, all right. And they came full circle, and then the cops would get a hold of it and they would
The
like,
drawings in those books back then, oh my god, yeah.
yeah.
In every single geography book, there was always like a picture where like Florida was the cock. It was
Yeah.
like, the best fucking thing ever. Like, I was like, I love this. Like, it's just,
I mean, now that we live in Florida, they were kind of right.
they were right.
right.
Even back then, they were spot on with their analogies.
yeah. They're like, yeah, this is Florida.
Yeah, that
that
magic is gone now. you know?
yeah.
The time period we were in, like, I remember the wooden chairs that you'd sit in. They were the greatest fucking chiropractic tool ever.
Yeah, because you could hold on and crack your
Oh
back.
my god, you could turn and grab.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I have never cracked my back that good since.
Yeah.
I remember putting my friends would get the stink bombs and you put them under the heel of the chair.
And
Clear
Oh,
your
so
fucking-
when someone sat down,
Yeah.
yep.
Straight sulfur.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was just so
fuck
bad.
yeah.
I think the best fight I got into school was I was leaving for the Army and I was in summer school. I needed 1 credit to graduate. So I didn't even get the chance to graduate with my graduating class. It was funny because in New York, I was ahead of the schedule. But when I moved to Pennsylvania, they're like, no, you're behind 1 credit to graduate on time. I was like, I was ahead in New York. They're like, yeah, the school system's different. We can't help you. And I didn't pay enough attention or care to know until it was my senior year. And I was like, fuck.
I went to summer school every fucking year.
Well,
so
no,
don't
this
worry
is
about it. Don't worry about it.
No.
I got
But
in
this
trouble
was just
for
like,
gym. Like,
Yeah, I
I
was
would be
about
like,
to
fuck
say.
off.
no, it almost fucked me up because I signed up to leave to the Army at 17. So, like, I was already kind of in the National Guard doing a thing at 17. And then I was supposed to leave for basic training. I already did my thing. So when I got to the summer school program, they had to like fix my leaving time to go to the service. So I'm there. I'm already pissed off. There's this kid. Fuck him, Joey. Right? He was in class.
fuck you,
Joey
Joey.
And
Goombot.
I'm just there.
Joey
I'm just there trying to get my high school diploma and get the fuck out.
Get
right?
out.
And he's sitting in the back of the class, and he said, and I hate to even bring this up to you because I know you're gonna use it later on.
What?
He's
What
like,
did he say?
"You Michael Jackson looking motherfucker."
I feel you, Joey. I feel you.
All right. So I'm just gonna ignore him. Next day, boom, he hit me with it again. I was like,
He's like, you know how to moonwalk?
this motherfucker, yeah, just
that
like
it?
like little fucking
You
Michael
got a pet
Jackson.
chimp?
Yeah, I was like, what's up?
I'd wait for you to sit down.
I'm like,
As soon as your ass touched the seat, I'd be like,
Yeah, bro, and he's like right behind me with this shit. So I'm like, one more fucking joke. You know, you ever say that in your head? Like,
Yeah,
they say
I'll give him
one
another
more
one.
fucking thing, and it's on. Next day, he did it again because like he's getting laughs. So everybody's like, I'm just thinking, I just got to get past this stupid fucking class. I picked up it was like, you know, those big ass textbooks that they would give you that would give you back problems through school.
yeah.
Turn around and I threw it at his fucking head. Teacher stops the whole thing. She's like, everybody's going to get in trouble. Everybody leaves and teacher says, hey, Nelson, stay. He's like, I know he's an asshole. He's like, you're going to fuck this up. You're leaving to the Army. You're going to do good things. Just get past this. The next day he comes in and he's talking shit. And the teacher, like, you know, says, all right, everybody leave, talks to me. And the teacher's like, listen, tomorrow, I'm going to leave.
And you're going to drop the people's elbow.
She's like, fuck him up. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to the bathroom. This is going to be your opportunity. Yo, and word is born. She left the fucking classroom the very next day, took the desk. I wrapped him up. I fucked him up on the floor. Didn't get in trouble. Didn't get suspended. The teacher backed me up. And then, so these kids decide, he's like, yo, I want to fight you again. This was unfair. You caught me off guard. I'm like, you've been fucking talking shit this whole time. I was like, come to my house.
You should have been on guard.
Right. I'm like, come to my house. I said, well, I'll fight you one-on-one. So my friend Tim Dog, he was like one of these like crazy
dropping. He's
motherfuckers.
name dropping.
Yeah, no, I love Tim Dog. He was my boy. He would wear like the biker rings with like the skulls and the spikes and shit.
Oh, he was that guy.
He was a
Hot
little
Topic.
cross-eyed. He was an ugly motherfucker. That's why we call him Tim Dog. But he was
Damn, Tim.
always ready to fight.
Down.
He was just like, I'm ugly. People been picking on me my whole life. I'll fight anytime. So he loved me. Like, so we're sitting on the patio. I'm like, yeah, Joey should be here any minute. He's supposed to be coming by himself. We're gonna fight it out over here. So Joey pulls up in like a geostorm. 5 motherfuckers in this thing. Like, he wanted to jump me. So my boy Tim Dog's like, fuck it. Me and you, we're going down there. We're going to fuck these guys up. I'm like, let's do it. Picks up a bat from my fucking house. And the 2 of us are walking down the stairs. These 5 guys are out. They're out there. So we're yelling and we're cursing. My uncle used to live in the garage at the time. My uncle comes running out. This is Pennsylvania, mind you.
Yeah.
He comes running out with a shotgun. He's like, you motherfucker step 1 foot on the property, I'll fucking kill you, right? So now my dad comes outside. He's got a gun, right? Guns are drawn. And I'm like, no. I said, he came here for a fight. I want to fight him. So I'm like, now it's going to be a real one-on-one fight because guess what? Y'all motherfuckers are going to get shot.
Yeah.
So we get onto the street and we start fighting. Boom, boom, boom. I'm whooping his ass and I'm talking shit. And I go to DDT him, right? He's wearing a wife beater. So the wife beater rips and I fall back and he falls on top of me. I bang my head on a rock.
You made a serious error.
I made a serious error. So now he's trying to throw punches on me and I'm blocking. So I'm like, fuck it. I grab him like this and I bite him. Not only do I bite him at his titty, right?
Dude, you gotta do what you ever got.
Bro,
what
I'm
you
like,
gotta do.
Listen, I got skin in my teeth. I'm like,
You're shaking your head like a shark.
no, he starts to yell, "Did you bite me?"
Yep.
As soon as he got up, I start tagging him. Boom,
It's
boom.
the head shake for me.
Bro.
Trying to tear something
So
loose.
now I'm tagging him. My dog, I had an American bulldog that
God.
like hunted boars.
Is there anyone else that wants to run
Listen,
around the
so-
fucking house?
Somebody else is getting bit.
My
Exactly.
dog is going crazy.
My fucking Meemaw came out with their oxygen tank.
So this is how the fight ended,
And
though,
left
because
left her dentures on him.
my dog decides to jump over the fence
Oh my god.
and make a beeline. My dog's head, it was like this, right? We called him Zeus. This motherfucker's head was like this. I've never seen 5 motherfuckers jump into a 2-door Geostorm so fast in my life. They were in the car and around the block. After that, like shit was squashed. I left to the army. I come back like a year later. I went to a party and he was like, "Hey, didn't you bite me?" So we're cool, right? Yeah. No, I'm past all of that shit. Didn't you bite me? Yeah,
You know goddamn well I bit you.
past
Right?
all-
He's
Yeah,
like,
of
you
course
still got the marks.
Yeah, lift your
fucked you up.
lift your fucking shirt up.
Yeah. You want the other side of the match?
Perfect match. Perfect fucking match.
But
Forensics.
That was probably my favorite childhood fight experience.
Well, sadly, I don't think we have much of that anymore.
No, we don't. It's a much softer world, which is why I think it really is important to get these kids out there doing martial arts, playing sports, music, just different things, different vocations, because you got to get them the fuck out there to experience life. Otherwise, look, even like recruiting is down all across the board for all of the military branches because kids are like, oh, you know what I mean? They're fucking soft. They don't want to try different things. Now, it's not for everyone, but we just had a different tier of human being, man and woman, growing up when we were growing up versus to what we're dealing with now.
They also took away a lot of places for them to do that. You know,
This is true.
There's so like you can't do anything without it being televised on an iPhone. It's like
This is true.
so the stories just don't hold value. It seems like as they did. Like we're reminiscent about our childhood and it's warm and fuzzy, even though it sounds deranged and like we all should be on like some.
We were having fun.
Yeah.
But it was like
We were having fun.
But I think
everybody's alive, dude. We're fine.
I think you're right because like I was even at a party just the other day for my nephew, and this kid was like he got into a fist fight.
Bootios.
Bootios. His friend got into a fist fight. They recorded it. He got his ass kicked, and they put it all over TikTok. To me, that's really shitty. Like, hey, if that's a private moment, you guys are having it out, and you don't need to record it and then
I think
constantly embarrass a person.
I think that's why we did so well because like we weren't recording everything.
No.
Like you met at the park after school, you threw hands, and like you won and lost. It was spread by word of mouth, but like
And then it was over.
that was it.
And
that was
and
done.
it was real.
It died.
Yeah.
It wasn't like impregnated with like garbage. It was real, and it just there was definite value to it. I noticed because my friend. All right, so speaking about karate, because we're all talking about all different stuff. Well, my friend, growing up, we went to a house party, and the kid supposedly was, I guess it was the nephew of Ralph Macchio.
Oh shit.
So now.
That's the Karate Kid.
For
those
those
that don't know. Yeah.
So anyway, he gets into a fight with this kid, but he actually knows martial arts.
Right.
Ralph Macchio, I don't know if he does, but he got his ass kicked by Ralph Macchio. So he got not Ralph Macchio, his nephew.
Yeah, right,
So,
right, that's
But
awesome.
now he's walking around, he got his ass kicked, but he's like, now he has a story. He's like, I got my ass kicked by the Karate Kid's nephew, you know. And then I had another kid that whooped D. Snyder's son's ass in a Blockbuster for talking shit to his girlfriend. And D. Snyder is Twisted Sister.
I would not want to fight D. Schneider, a giant man woman. There's no
Yeah.
fucking way I would want to fight
But
him.
it was
That's a
like,
spooky thing.
Yeah, with sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck, man.
Imagine him coming at you saying, "We're not gonna take it."
Yeah.
I'm fucking terrified,
We're
bro.
not gonna take it.
Because he's a big biker motherfucker. Like
I don't-
long, like, you know. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was just different times, and it's like, you know, I think with everything, I think we need to take a step back and go the other direction, because it's like things were more wholesome. I think our great grandparents and the grandparents had it right, making things by hand, passing it on to the next generation. Because like, you know, like I don't even think at this point that kids know how to cook family meals that they grew up eating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
no,
And that's
very,
kind of
very,
sad.
very few. Very
Yeah.
few. It's everyone Uber Eats everything.
You know, it's funny you say that because like that was one of the things that like my mother, she makes like rice pudding and coquito. Like it's a very Puerto Rican thing for the holidays. That when my daughter finally of age, like we're really big on Christmas and holidays. I'm like, you need to go to grandma and have her teach you how to make this shit so you know how to do it. And so now when she's in the Air Force and they do like a cultural day, those are the dishes
She actually has something
that
to make.
she's making, like, and it's like, oh, cool, and like, oh man, I've never had this. It's like, yeah,
Cooking
this
is a very
This
important
is something
skill.
that's passed down.
Very important.
Yeah, me too. Like I cook Pop-Tarts, cereal.
I throw down in the kitchen,
mean,
man.
Oh, I make some
Same.
Doritos,
Excellent muffins.
muffins, right? No, I can barbecue. Somewhat, and
I feel like that's built into your DNA as a Puerto Rican, though. Like,
it
you have
is.
to-
It is some of
You
that
have to be
food
able to
action.
barbecue to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think it's very important because we need loud salsa music to annoy the neighbors and barbecues.
Yeah.
That's a part of what we bring to the table. You know what I mean?
Fair. I appreciate it.
Yeah, see? We know how to do this shit from time to time.
I'm the guy drinking Mexican drinks at the Puerto Rican barbecue.
And on that note, thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast. You can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC,
and on YouTube at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, take it away.
There's nowhere really to take us.
So he recommends watching The Exorcist.
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
yes.
that's
No, not the Pope's Exorcist. No,
Not the
don't,
Pope's
no,
Exorcist,
don't.
no?
But you can take a look at The Exorcist Believer when it comes out in October.
that looks like it's gonna be good.
That looks
that looks
good.
deranged
That
as
looks
fuck.
good. It looks
what was
good,
the name
though.
of the other movie that you really recommended, that horror film? With the hand.
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me.
is
I
really
gotta
good.
see that. I didn't
That's
see
really
that.
good. That's right up there with Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
good.
not into horror, but if he recommends it, I know it's a fucking great.
Both of those movies you can't go wrong with.
And I like
You
the
can't
real
go wrong
stuff.
with. You can't go wrong with Evil Dead Rise, Talk to Me, or the one that's on HBO now, Barbarian.
Yeah, nice.
All three of those were decent horror movies.
And I tell you what, even though it didn't do great in the box office, DC's Blue Beetle was fantastic.
That's
it
what I
was
hear.
funny and it was action packed. Like it didn't get its just due, and that's because the DCU's been falling apart for a while now.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay.
all
Zack
right.
Snyder's new movie looks good.
As
though.
well rated as it was,
Yeah.
it didn't make any money.
No.
What's the trailer I sent to you? It's Zack Snyder's movie. It's a sci-fi movie that's coming to Netflix.